5 miracles you didn't know happened in the Bible. Did you know the Bible is full of miracles that many people have never heard of? While stories like the parting of the Red Sea and the feeding of the 5,000 are well known, there are other, lesser-known miracles that are equally astonishing. Imagine discovering a miracle where an axe head floats on water, or where the sun stands still in the sky. These surprising events reveal the incredible power and presence of God in everyday situations and extraordinary moments. In this video, we're going to explore 5 miracles you probably didn't know happened in the Bible. From a floating axe head to a deadly viper that couldn't harm a man of God, these stories will deepen your understanding of God's miraculous works and His care for His people. By the end of this video, you'll be amazed at the hidden wonders within the scriptures. Before we dive in, make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos that uncover more fascinating biblical stories and teachings. Now, let's discover these 5 lesser-known miracles that will surprise and inspire you. Floating axe head. In the book of 2 Kings, we find the story of the prophet Elisha and a group of prophets who were building a new place to live. As they were cutting down trees by the Jordan River, one man's borrowed axe head fell into the water. Distressed because the axe was borrowed, he cried out to Elisha. Elisha asked where it had fallen, threw a stick into the water at that spot, and miraculously, the axe head floated to the surface. This story, found in 2 Kings 6 verses 1-7, shows that God cares about our everyday problems, even something as mundane as a lost tool. It also demonstrates His power over nature, making the impossible possible. This miracle might seem small compared to others, but it shows that no concern is too insignificant for God. It reminds us that He is present in our daily struggles and is always ready to help us, no matter how trivial our problems may seem. The floating axe head is a testament to God's intimate involvement in our lives and His willingness to perform miracles to meet our needs. This story also emphasizes the importance of faith and obedience. The prophets' respect for Elisha and their willingness to follow his instructions allowed them to witness God's miraculous intervention firsthand. It reminds us that even in our routine activities, we can experience God's power if we remain faithful and obedient. Sun stands still. One of the most dramatic miracles in the Bible is when the sun stood still. In the book of Joshua, we read about Joshua leading the Israelites in battle against the Amorites. During the battle, Joshua prayed for the sun to stand still to give the Israelites more time to defeat their enemies. Amazingly, God answered his prayer. The sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down for about a full day. This event, described in Joshua 10 verses 12-14, highlights God's control over time and His willingness to intervene in human affairs, particularly in moments of great need and faith. This miracle demonstrates God's ability to manipulate the natural world to fulfill His purposes. It also shows the power of prayer and faith. Joshua's bold request and God's response teach us that we can approach God with our biggest and boldest prayers, trusting that He has the power to answer them in extraordinary ways. This event also serves as a powerful reminder of God's commitment to His promises. God had promised Joshua victory, and He ensured that promise was fulfilled by halting the sun. It encourages us to trust in God's faithfulness and His ability to make the impossible happen to accomplish His divine will. Widow's oil. The story of the widow's oil is another lesser-known but remarkable miracle. In 2 Kings, a widow approached the prophet Elisha in desperate need. Her husband had died, leaving her with debt that she could not pay, and creditors were coming to take her sons as slaves. Elisha asked her what she had in her house, and she replied that she had nothing except a small jar of olive oil. Elisha told her to gather as many empty jars as she could from her neighbors and pour oil into all the jars. Miraculously, the oil kept flowing until all the jars were filled. This story, found in 2 Kings 4 verses 1-7, illustrates God's provision and care for those in dire need. showing that He can multiply our small resources in extraordinary ways. This miracle teaches us about God's abundant provision and the importance of obedience and faith. The widow's willingness to follow Elisha's instructions and her faith in God's provision led to a miraculous outcome. It encourages us to trust in God's ability to provide for our needs, even when we can't see how it's possible. The story also underscores the significance of community and mutual support. The widow's neighbors provided the jars, contributing to the miracle. It shows that God often uses our relationships and community to bless and provide for us. This miracle encourages us to seek and offer help within our communities, trusting that God can work through these connections to meet our needs. Jesus heals Malchus's ear. During the arrest of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, a remarkable and often overlooked miracle occurred. As the soldiers came to arrest Jesus, one of his disciples, Peter, drew a sword and cut off the ear of Malchus, the servant of the high priest. Jesus, in an act of compassion and divine power, touched Malchus's ear and healed it instantly. This event, recorded in Luke 22 verses 50 to 51, highlights Jesus' compassion, even in the face of his impending suffering and death. It also demonstrates his power to heal and restore, even in moments of crisis. This miracle is significant because it shows Jesus' commitment to peace and healing, even when faced with violence. It also illustrates his divine authority and compassion. By healing Malchus, Jesus demonstrated his willingness to show mercy and love to all, including those who came to arrest him. This act of healing serves as a powerful reminder of Jesus' mission to bring restoration and reconciliation. This miracle also emphasizes the importance of restraint and forgiveness. Despite the hostility surrounding him, Jesus chose to heal rather than retaliate. It teaches us the value of responding to aggression with compassion and seeking to heal rather than harm. This event encourages us to follow Jesus' example of love and forgiveness, even towards those who oppose us. Paul's protection from a viper. After being shipwrecked on the island of Malta, the Apostle Paul gathered a pile of brushwood and put it on a fire. As he did so, a viper driven out by the heat fastened itself on his hand. The islanders saw the snake hanging from his hand and thought he must be a murderer whom the goddess Justice would not allow to live. But Paul shook the snake off into the fire and suffered no ill effects. The people expected him to swell up or suddenly fall dead, but after waiting a long time and seeing nothing unusual happen to him, they changed their minds and said he was a god. This story, found in Acts 28 verses 3 to 6, demonstrates God's protection over his servants and his power to nullify deadly threats. This miracle highlights God's protection and care for those who serve him. It shows that God can protect us from harm and use even the most dangerous situations to demonstrate his power and faithfulness. Paul's calm reaction and the miraculous outcome serve as a testimony to God's sovereignty and protection. This event also illustrates the power of God's witness through his servants. Paul's survival and the subsequent change in the islanders' perception demonstrate how God can use miraculous signs to reveal his truth to others. It encourages us to live boldly for God, trusting that he can use our experiences, even the challenging ones, to showcase his power and draw others to him. Conclusion: from a floating axe head to a deadly viper that couldn't harm a man of God, these lesser-known miracles reveal the incredible power and presence of God in both everyday situations and extraordinary moments. They deepen our understanding of God's miraculous works and his care for his people. These 5 miracles are just a glimpse into the hidden wonders within the Bible. Exploring these stories helps us see the breadth and depth of God's intervention in the world and his love for humanity. If you found these miracles as fascinating as we did, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos that continue to uncover more amazing biblical stories and teachings. Let us know your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Until next time, remember that God's power and presence are always with us, working in ways we may not always see or understand.